All right, shallow warm nine spiral. All right, let's cook. Let's cook a bit. All right, I'm back. I'm back. All right, steady cooking. You know, the other day I asked myself, why do I cook so much? All right, and I have come to the conclusion that it is therapeutic for me, as well as it might be for some of y'all. And so this never gets old. All right. I wanted to touch back on Emanuel Velikovsky, all right? And the only way we can do that is through stolenhistory.net. All right, and so we have stolenhistory.net in the house, all right? Y'all check them out on YouTube and also other platforms. You probably be better off checking them out on other platforms. However, I will not mention the platforms on YouTube, all right? But if anybody wants a link, anything like that, to stolenhistory.net, let me know. All right. It is, I think they did an immaculate job dealing with, you know, stolen history or what happened in the 1800s and mud flood. All right. And so, stolenhistory.net, fair use, fair use. I did chop up some of you guys' videos so I could present it to the tribes. All right, shalom to the 12 tribes of Yasharal, heir to the throne, huh? All right, and what I'm going to attempt to do, all right, is explain their work and how it relates to you. All right, so-called Negro, uh, who has become a byword. All right, they don't know what to call us, and the reason for that is this right here. It's all about you, Israel. All right, and I'm going to do that with Torah. All right, Torah. All right, it's very special. Torah is very special. I once heard UB News say that Torah is not just the legacy of one nation of people and their relationship between their parents above, who just so happen to be creator of all things seen and unseen. All right, that is something that we cannot undo. All right, we cannot undo the curses that we're on, but they wouldn't leave you with nothing. And so if you know, like I know, they expect every last one of you, Israel, to be meditating on what? Torah. All right. The Old Testament is nothing more than an ancient love story between children, sons and daughters, and their parents above. All right, nice. 4-3-2. A guitar at the back. You know what I'm saying? I like to switch it up every now and then. Shout out to my man, Mattathias Wasser. Guitar, y'all. Subscribe to him on YouTube. A beautiful job on the strings. All right, and so uh, this is Velikovsky knew the truth behind the Old Testament, part 2. All right, and so I think I'm gonna name it Velikovsky and Friends. All right, and so we're going to get to know some of these Gentiles. All right, because they ain't all bad. All right, Frederick Wilhelm Nietzsche. All right, who quotes Nietzsche? Was a German philosopher. All right, poet, all that, critic, composer. All right, let me get off that. Nietzsche works span philosophical, polemics, okay, poetry, cultural criticism. All right, cultural criticism. We're just getting to know these guys just a little bit before we get started with stolenhistory.net. All right, so bear with me. Shalom to the 12 tribes. All right, you're cooking with the 9. I'm gonna cook regardless, huh? And buddy, man, in my comment section, man, okay, if you can prove that everything is in San Francisco, all right, just show me the proof, man. All right, and also, man, to Ock know who he is, you know, no harm, no foul. But I get a lot of trolls, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you, like, I do not give a damn about Islam, all right? Because everybody knows by now, or should know, that it is a fairly new religion created by the Vatican, all right? I'm not one of those that, oh, you don't talk about Islam, don't talk about the Prophet Muhammad. No, I got 50 reasons why he wasn't a prophet. Collectively understood as the will to power, all right? Nietzsche, his body of work, y'all forgive me, man. I just had to touch on some things. A wide range of topics, including art, all right, history, religion, culture, true inspiration from Greek tragedy, as well as physics. Okay. And so one of the things, uh, what? The notion of, all right. All right, man. I'm going to bat for you. I think he was a big critic of religion and how wrong it is. All right, moving along. Emanuel Velikovsky himself. All right, this is my dude right here. This is my dude. Don't get it twisted. Uh, Velikovsky is one of many. I think we're going to find out later on. One of many who was digging on false chronology. All right, and the rewriting of history. All right, and the faking of a new testament. I'll take the old. His books use comparative mythology and ancient literature sources, including the Old Testament. All right. That's why this is Emanuel Velikovsky knew the truth. In positioning Velikovsky among catastrophicists, including Haynes Bellamy, all right, Ignatius Donnelly, okay. He also proposed a revised chronology of ancient Egypt, Greece, and who? Israel, huh? And other cultures of ancient Near East, all right. All right, and so Velikovsky was one of the earlier ones to call out, I wouldn't say earlier ones, to call out, call bullshit on the rewriting of history. So, to me, this is profound because they was digging on that shit way back then. We talking, what is early 1900s? You had, listen, man, even Sir Isaac Newton himself was like, whoa, whoa, this look like some bullshit. What y'all doing? 1700s, you know what I'm saying? They was calling out this shit, all right? And so, if you can't comprehend that everything that happened in the Old Testament wasn't that long ago, uh, so be it. All right, this is Velikovsky and friends. All right, next up to bat. Hey, Jay Hills, the man himself. And totally, all right, we're going to dig on a little Anatoly Fomenko, all right, because he took it a step further with being a mathematician and backdating, all right, through lunar eclipse, all right. The farthest they go back is 1039, 1046 AD, right? Which you take away that AD, then it's just what, 1039, all right. So you might as well go back to what, 1,000, 1,000. All right, there's a lot of people, saying that the Earth, in which I believe myself, is no more than 6,000 years old, no more than 5,000. All right, so we're talking 1,000 when it all began. So that would be what, like Abraham them days right there. All right, Anatoly, mathematician, man, he was all that. The creator himself of phantoms and duplications, all right, which Joseph the Red took it and ran with it, all right. It's phantoms and duplications all in scripture, even apocrypha, all right. All right, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all familiar with Anatoly, all right. All right, y'all, we're here. Let's pop off, all right. Introducing the legendary stolenhistory.net. The destruction of the old world. Shall we?
What do we really know about our past? Are we suffering from a collective memory loss?
Now no more.
Was there a technically advanced unified civilization on Earth less than 500 years ago? What what role did the World's Fairs play in introducing forgotten technology?
Wonder how,
Why did human knowledge suddenly explode in the 19th century?
Big facts.
Did someone secretly destroy remnants of old world structures under the pretense of a temporary exposition? Nothing is as it seems. It's time for us to remember again and lift the veil of deception.
Let's go.
Friedrich Nietzsche, The Birth of Tragedy from the Spirit of Music.
All right.
The most pressing problem of man today is the loss of meaning. Meaning is rooted in the past. When knowledge of the past fades, so does the meaning of life. Today's man does not know where he comes from, who he is, and where he is going. He has become a pawn in the hands of powers that can direct him at will. Uprooted from his past, there is no foundation. And without a foundation based on reality, there is no way to develop an objective understanding of the world.
Facts. Let's go.
Only the way back to one's roots gives meaning back to life. Epigenetics, the study of heritable changes in gene expression that are not directly encoded in our DNA, suggests that our life experiences, such as hardships, traumatic experiences, etc., are passed on to subsequent generations.
To subsequent generations, huh? Oh, okay. You gonna go there with it? All right, all right. Well, how about I raise you? And we're gonna go ahead and agree with you, huh? It is passed down generation to generation, all right? My tribe, Israel, you are still under these curses. You are still under these curses. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of your parents above, huh? To observe, to do all their commandments, the law. That all these curses, they will come upon you and overtake you, huh? That's right.
Mythological and religious traditions go even further and speak of a collective memory.
All right, all right.
Already in the Vedas, the holy scriptures of Hinduism, a kind of universal memory is mentioned. The Sanskrit word akasha stands for heaven, space, or ether, and, according to the Eastern wisdom tradition, refers to the most subtle of the 5 elements from which everything else was created. Thus, according to Indian mythology, all thoughts that have ever been thought and all deeds that have ever been performed are stored in this information field, which is also expressed in the legendary palm leaf libraries of India and Sri Lanka.
All right, then cook.
The conception of a world memory also exists in the Occidental culture. We can...
Oh, so we Occidental, huh? All right, let's go.
Find similar references in the Bible. For example, when the book of Isaiah speaks of a memory book.
Now, I did look for that. I did see it. I don't know what version. But, you see, I've refrained from using the word Tanakh a lot lately. All right, because I know that it is a ish word, right? But what did the Most High call it in the last book? the Old Testament, Malachi 3:15 through 18. And now we call the proud happy, yea, they that work wickedness are set up, yea, they that tempt Hawa are even delivered. Then they, who is they? Whoever watching this video that feared the Most High, spake often, one to another, and the Most High hearkened and heard it, and a book, uh-oh, of remembrance was written before your parents for them that feared the Most High and that thought upon their name. Hawa. And they shall be who? Mine. Your parents said they shall be mine, saith the Most High of hosts. In that day when we make up our jewels, huh? You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see. And we will spare them as a man spares his own son or daughter, or a mother or daughter that serveth him. Okay? Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth Hawa and him or her that don't. That's right.
Every activity is a form of energy. And energy cannot be dissipated.
All right.
It is retained. We are in a closed system. See, everything you do, everything you say, every action you take, every penny you earn or spend is recorded.
Okay, cook then.
So we can assume that all experiences of our ancestors still exist.
You bet your bottom dollar. All right. Now, I always go back to this model because it just shows just how remote this plane we live on, called Earth. You know, that's why I love Torah, right? And the Book of Remembrance so much, because it is very direct, all right? I think that's in the book of Isaiah. It is he, all right? Or it is your parents who sits above the circle of the earth, all right? Inhabitants are like grasshoppers, all right? But they likened it to a footstool. And this is what you get in all those diagrams. You just add some legs, all right? Very remote, all right? As the body separates from the soul, all right? This is somewhat accurate according to Second Ezra, all right? The Ruach, the spirit, returns to that which gave it. You see that? Soul in, goes up, and then you go back down into Sheol, all right, where all your ancestors, your grandparents, and beloved ones that have departed, all right, this is where they are, right here. This is very remote. See that? Sheol, all right. I just buried my dad 3 weeks ago, all right. He's in Sheol. Best thing I can tell you about Sheol is according to Enoch, 4 compartments. 3 of them you don't want to be in. But there's one, all right? But there's a bright stream of water that flows through it, all right? And it's guarded by angels, dracons, in profound quiet. All right, so Khan, with that diagram, and I hope I explained it, man, and somebody got some edification. Let's play back what this guy said, man. I just thought it was a great point to make. All right, Tawada. All right, this is late night cooking with the nine. All right, it could be a coffee and kush session right here. All right, and we're rocking with stolen history.net. Let's rock.
In an The conception of a world memory also exists in the Occidental culture.
Mhm.
We can find similar references in the Bible. For example, when the book of Isaiah speaks of a memory book.
Memory book, huh? Book of remembrance. Huh?
Every activity is a form of energy, and energy cannot be dissipated. It is retained. We are in a closed system.
Cook now.
See,
Cook.
everything you do, everything you say,
Cook.
every action you
Cook.
take, every penny you earn or spend is recorded.
Huh?
So we can assume that all experiences of our ancestors still exist in an energy field invisible to us.
All right.
For example, the flood has burned itself into our collective memory, but so have the stories of giants, dragons, or malicious witches.
Let's go.
The more we humans abandon these mythical images, the more we alienate ourselves from our own past and thus from our own being.
I agree.
This process of self-alienation began with the so-called Age of Enlightenment.
All right.
Emanuel Velikovsky writes,
Velikovsky.
Amnesia is one of the defense reactions of man.
Let's go.
We know the effects of battle shock on soldiers. In the older Greek authors, the Pythagoreans and the Stoics, you find definite statements indicating that catastrophes which occurred in the history of the human race and in the history of our Earth were not abnormal events. They were actually dominant, repeating themselves again and again. But from the historical records, we see that the knowledge of the catastrophes disappeared slowly into oblivion. Plato described cataclysms in several works. He wrote about worlds destroyed and rebuilt. In his Timaeus, he noted that the Greeks do not remember ancient catastrophes besides the deluge. He adds that the people of his time, as the priests of Sais told Solon, were unable to remember these catastrophic events. Darwin did not accept the implications of the evidence that he saw with his own eyes. The Darwinian revolution was the rebirth of Aristotle, whose ideas had lost ground, if not at the time of the Renaissance, then in the Age of Enlightenment. Even in the Age of Enlightenment, men espoused ideas of a peaceful earth.
What? All right. And so they believe in a what? Peaceful world. All right. I don't know how that became about. All right. But I'm showing you through Torah. All right. Read.
Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for the correction of men.
Read.
Yet for all this they will not turn from their iniquities.
Come on.
Nor be always mindful of the scourges.
Read.
Behold, provision will be so cheap upon earth that men will imagine that peace is assured for them. And then the calamity shall spring up on the earth.
All right. And I just want to add that I'm doing this with Torah. All right. I'm doing this with Torah. Now I hope we can understand that who's or who wrote the script. The Most High just told the prophet Ezra, right? Provision will be so cheap that men will will be assured that peace is on his way. You see how the Most High got him? Huh? Watch him work. Let's rock.
Even in the age of enlightenment, men espoused ideas of a peaceful earth.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Y'all got it.
The nihilistic and mechanistic worldview represented by Rousseau and other so-called masterminds of the Enlightenment could only flourish on the breeding ground of industrialization. After all, industrialization turned man into a mechanical being who was reduced.
You see that? Industrialization jump-started their culture, their history. All right? What we want to know, Esau or Moab, who taught them how to use the technology and release it to population little by little. That way you can control. All right? That's all we want to know. All right. Let's rock.
Reduced to material aspects. Industrialization must be seen as a turning point, and as the most notable event that is still comprehensible and visible to us today as a result of a reset in the 18th or early 19th century.
Biblical catastrophe. Same shit. Let's cook, y'all.
This reset followed an event that also brought about the so-called mud flood. All over the world, the buildings of the old world were partially submerged in the earth, and the former first floors were thus usually converted into cellars. Little is known about the cause of the mud flood, possibly a world war we don't remember or an electromagnetic plasma event.
Or how about your parents above? Huh? Let's go.
The fact is that catastrophic events have taken place.
Talk to me.
Not just in a cave here or in a cave there, but events of indescribable violence, such that no human being who succeeded to survive could be free from the traumatic effects.
Nobody.
Traumatic effects, as I say, indescribable. Imagine, suddenly, time is no more time.
You better cook now.
The day does not move into the night. The ocean does not just beat at the coast of the Atlantic, it moves over the continent.
Let's cook.
Not even moves over the continent.
But what?
Continent and sea just change places.
Change places.
Before I finish, I will read you a letter from one of my readers.
Let's go. Let's go.
I feel that the ancients in myth, epic, and sacred works have been trying to tell us something about a problem that bothered them a great deal.
A problem.
It appears fairly clear that our ancestors were trying to communicate a deep fear, a terrible anxiety. They were talking about a problem that was so terrible that the most drastic measures to group discipline and or self-repression were justified.
All right. This is for y'all that think this is a game. Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 17. For the Most High, your power, Israel, is the power of powers. The Most High of Most Highs. You see how we do it? We've been doing this long time. Shout out to Kurimio, Con Drop, Joseph the Real, Natural by Law, The Ether Squad. A great power, a mighty and terrible. Didn't she just say that? Which regardeth not person nor taketh anything you got because they made it. All right, so this is for y'all that think that this is a game. All right, that we're just returning to the Most High and we're keeping Torah for nothing. All right, Psalm 66, verse 5. Come and see, and that's why I show you the works of Hawah, your father and mother above. They are terrible in their doing towards the children of man. Psalms 47, 2. For the Most High is terrible. Huh? They are a great power over all the earth. All right. You see how we take back our vibration? All right. I want to send this one to my adversaries. I know you're watching. All right. Because you're always watching. What I'm going to give to the people, huh? So keep validating me. Keep hacking phones, devices. Keep using the devices of my loved ones around me. You can do whatever to the car. All right. You can tap any. They can tap a motherfucking microwave if they want. All right. And so this one's for you. Jeremiah 20:11. But the Most High is with me. Fool. As a mighty terrible one. Therefore my persecutors shall stumble. They shall not prevail. They shall be greatly ashamed. For they shall not prosper. Their everlasting confusion shall never be forgotten. All right, say now, excuse me, sweetheart. Now you said that they was talking about what now?
They were talking about a problem that was so terrible that the most drastic measures to group discipline and or self-repression were justified. It was a powerful fear. It is sometimes suggested that the Bible can directly be applied to modern life, and that all the ancients were really writing about were the problems of survival while avoiding neurosis, worries, unhappiness, and so on.
Terrible.
To me, that approach is very unconvincing. The God those people were writing about was terrifying.
Terrible.
In the Old Testament, he is the God of wrath.
Keep playing.
He was dangerous and violent.
Terrible.
Rock, fire, flood, hurricane, and similar weapons he used on those he judged ill of. That's what the ancients wrote, and I see no point in trying to water it down. That's what they meant. They were really scared. Emanuel Velikovsky.
All right, to shed some light on Mr. Anatoly Fomenko's work, I want you to pay attention to the right side of this graph, all right? And so what I can appreciate about Anatoly Fomenko is that he's not afraid to tell the truth, all right? This right side is the basis for all paradigms that they created. And you run them through a computer, they all look like this, and they're going to mimic what? The house of Israel. Let's rock.
The new chronology is a pseudo-historical theory which argues that the conventional chronology of Middle Eastern and European history is fundamentally flawed, and that events attributed to the civilizations of the Roman Empire, ancient Greece and ancient Egypt actually occurred during the Middle Ages. The central concepts of the new chronology are derived from the ideas of Russian scholar Nikolai Morozov (1854–1946), although work by French scholar Jean Hardouin (1646–1729) can be viewed as an earlier predecessor. However, the new chronology is most commonly associated with Russian mathematician Anatoly Fomenko, born 1945, although published works on the subject are actually a collaboration between Fomenko and several other mathematicians.
The concept is most fully explained in History, Fiction or Science, originally published in Russian. The new chronology also contains a reconstruction, an alternative chronology, radically shorter than the standard historical timeline, because all ancient history is folded onto the Middle Ages. According to Fomenko's claims, the written history of humankind goes only as far back as AD 800. There is almost no information about events between AD 800 1000, and most known historical events took place in AD 1000 to 1500.
I told you. And so with that, what we use, what Mama gave us. You know what I'm saying? What Luke said, shake what your mama gave ya. All right. And so all we're doing is using what our Ama above gave us. All right. Common sense, little wisdom. I'm putting it at 1,000. There you go. And this is the reason why everybody is saying the earth is no more than 5,000 years old. All right. You might be able to correlate that in an apocrypha too, if I'm not mistaken. But all paradigms mimic the house of Yeshua. Let's go.
Before we get into the new chronology itself, it's important to understand why Fomenko thinks our understanding of history is completely incorrect.
That's how we cooking.
First of all, he doubts the validity of virtually all historical records before the 11th century.
Me too.
Some of these records are completely lost, while others are the result of inconsistent timekeeping methods, unreliable writers, and a range of other factors. He also believes that pre-Renaissance history was the result of a conspiracy involving the Catholic Church. According to Fomenko, the Vatican wanted to ensure their version of history reigned supreme. Perhaps more crucially, the Church wanted mainstream history to reflect the events depicted in the Bible.
Oh, really?
Fomenko points specifically to a French scholar named Joseph Scaliger.
All right. Joseph Scaliger. Now, he don't deserve the Y. Joseph Scaliger, huh? And also Patavius, you know what I'm saying? Those were the two hijacks credited with, the current mainstream chronology or timeline that we have that is accepted by mainstream academia. All right. Now, I know better. I know better than that. All right. And if you think that belongs to just two mere mortals, then you need to go holler at Amma, all right, and get some wisdom. Because I've had sweet conversations, all right, with wisdom, all right. And this is the brain work of, it seemed like maybe some councils of Nicaeas and things like that. Huh? Now, on the other side, you have, I do want to give some ahab to N.A. Morozov. These are the early people who called bullshit, man. Even hijacked Sir Isaac Newton. Salute for saying, I don't think we should do this. Rewriting history in the Dark Ages, when the Old Testament was popping off in the Dark Ages. All right, you have some other ones, man. All right, let's cook. Let's go.
Who was responsible for piecing together the foundation of our modern historical chronology. Of course, Fomenko wasn't the first person to criticize modern interpretations of historical events.
See that?
As individuals like Jean Hardwin had doubted the validity of ancient historical documents way back in the 17th century.
17th, we salute you, Gentile.
Hardwin famously claimed that most Greek and Roman texts had been forged by Benedictine monks.
See that? Councils, huh?
Even Sir Isaac Newton had his doubts about the official story, and the historian Edwin Johnson believed that all early Christian history was completely unreliable.
See that?
Having been fabricated in the 2nd and 3rd centuries. Essentially, he argues that many historical events were duplicated by early writers who wanted to stretch history further back in time.
Paradigm after
If they wanted to write about an event that occurred thousands of years ago, they would simply take a more modern event, change the names and a few details,
like the house
and
of
rewrite
Israel.
that event to create fake early history. These phantom histories were created intentionally to serve the interests of the elite. A trained mathematician, Fomenko set out to prove this theory using statistical correlation. He analyzed a number of historical figures and determined which ones were most similar. After years of study, he began to believe that many of these historical figures were actually the same people.
You see that? You see that?
They had remarkably similar names.
You see that?
Lived for about the same amount of time and died in the exact same way.
See that? Now I'm glad this popped up. Touch a little bit on this. This is just one of the ways I'm able to, you know what I'm saying, do my thing. So whenever they get in my phone, I pull this down and I can see them. And so I might get like a Zen tag configuration or some shit like that. This seems like they always trying to configure my phone, update shit. I didn't quite know how to work it at first, but over the years I learned how to work it. So this is one of the apps. So I'm glad y'all did that. Haha, sucker. And so you say 9. How terrible can our parents be? All right. I'm pretty sure everybody is seeing all the fire that's going on around the face of the earth. All right. This is in Russia. This was actually yesterday. I was going to go ahead and do the video, but this fell in my lap. And so I had to chop this up. Shall we? All right. I ain't even got to point them out, man. And so I specialize in showing the Most High's work. And ain't too many people doing it, man. And look here, man, if y'all want to donate, you know, it's welcome. You know what I'm saying? Just hit my PayPal. I think it's connected to the Gmail 9spiral.uladashi@gmail.com. All right. 9spiral. There's 9spiral dot ULADASHI@gmail.com. Huh? Let's go. What he at? Y'all see him? Y'all see him? Look how they be looking, y'all. Look at the damage. Look at the damage. Ain't this old world damage right here? We've been trying to tell y'all, man.
Просто дым, облако и прям такой поднялся это облако в воздух.
Mm-hmm. And so now I just sit back and show you. Game on, y'all.
Не сильно как-то вот, приглушенно как-то, а потом вот, и потом я понимаю, что это что-то такое ужасное, и я на корточках к стене, кошки у меня просто заметались по квартире, для них был такой шок, и цветы у меня с окна упали.
Mm-hmm.
Что это? Ёб твою мать!
You see him?
Здание суда, что ли, нахуй?
Just making sure y'all see him. Just making sure y'all see him, all right? See him? You see, it's important for us to know Israel, Yasharal, all right? That your mother and father above, they kill nations for you, huh? They did it for your ancestors, and so they got to do it for you, huh? All right, so that concludes the Velikovsky knew the truth behind the Old Testament, all right? The power of Israel, Yasharal, their parents. It's a family affair. It's all about you, Israel. You keep that in mind. It's all about you. Ahab, for everybody that's rocking with me, appreciate y'all for tasting a little bit of my cooking.